Hi there. Karibu tukuze matunda and welcome again to this channel, and thank you so much for all your feedback, encouragement, and all the nice things that you keep on telling us that keeps us encouraged and wanting to even do more and share more information. So today I want to quickly give a summary of what I think are the biggest challenges that any person who wants to grow a tree tomato is likely to encounter. And I must admit, it's usually not all that rosy, and at times you come, or rather you visit your farm and feel a little bit discouraged. You try out so many things, and you can easily give up, given that you're likely to face a lot of challenges. So today I'm back in our Tumaini orchards, and I don't want to talk much about what is happening here because I did upload a video just the other day, and I want to quickly just touch on let me say 5 challenges that I think you're likely to experience if you want to grow these fruits as an agribusiness. I think the number one challenge that you are likely to encounter is pests and diseases. Unlike mainstream crops, and when I talk of mainstream crops, these are the crops that are grown a lot, or rather in large scale across the world, whereby we have big companies that have vested interest, and as a result they do contribute a lot when it comes to R&D, or research and development. And some of these are a good example would be, say, coffee. Coffee is grown across the globe, and if you understand the coffee value chain, then you'll understand who are the big players. And as a result, there is a lot of interest in terms of making sure that the coffee value chain is well taken care of. I'm just giving an example. And as a result, the big players invest a huge amount of money in research and development, and part of that money is improving on the varieties in terms of pests and diseases, how to curb those diseases and stuff. And if you go to any agrochemical shop, you'll find that most of the fungicides will have labels of certain crops. And that's a clear sign that a lot of research has been done. You'll find, for example, fungicides that will have coffee, photos of coffee, photos of potatoes, photos of what else? Many other crops that are tomatoes, onions, and stuff like that. So one thing that I will tell you is that if you intend to grow these fruits, there is nothing much in terms of information that exists on, for example, what fungicide regime that you would need to apply. And we have done a lot of trial and error, because you will buy a fungicide that has potatoes labeled on top, which will come to spray your fruits, but hardly I'm yet to come across anything that has tree tomatoes on the labels. So not much of information exists in terms of tree tomato diseases, pest management and stuff like that. So you have to apply the general knowledge that you have, that you know about crop management, because some of these pests are shared across. Whiteflies are whiteflies, so whatever kills whiteflies, or rather controls whiteflies, will still be applicable here. And there are many diseases. Some of them we are still figuring out what diseases they are. Because yeah, I'm here to come across any tree tomato agronomist expert who will tell you and pinpoint each and every other disease that our trees are going through. So it's a lot of trial and error, but thank God we have tried some of these systems, or rather some of these agrochemicals, and we know what works. So you might go looking for information, but little will be found. So you need to link up with fellow farmers so that you can get to know what challenges you're likely to face in terms of diseases. But like I've mentioned, most of the pests are common. Caterpillars are caterpillars, whiteflies are whiteflies, aphids, thrips, and so forth and so on. The other thing that I've noted, I would want to mention as the challenge number 2, I think it's this whole business of climate change. Why I say that is that climate change is affecting our weather patterns, and as a result, seasons that were known to have rains are no longer having rains. And that means that you have to invest on a stable irrigation system. Why I call it climate change and not drought and stuff, it's because climate change is affecting how we, it's affecting very many things in terms of the weather patterns. Right now we're experiencing some very heavy rains here in Nyandarua. We're in the month of October. Previously, October was a dry month. In other regions, because I'm lucky, I keep on touring this country owing to the nature of my job. Yesterday, for example, I was in Eldoret. The day before, I was in those sides of Kitengela, Kajiado, and I remember the weather patterns are very different. You find some extreme dry period, or rather dry zones. When you expect rains, the rains are not there. When you think that the rains will come, they don't come. And when they come, we are facing floods. The president just declared a national disaster in terms of drought. Some regions are having extreme rains, others extreme dry season. So all that. So you can ramp it up to, as climate change challenges. And that means that if you want to invest in tree tomatoes, you have to be extra careful. You have to calculate your water needs. You have to make sure that you know the amount of water that you're going to consume. And on several occasions here, our wells have dried. This year, for example, these fruits that you're seeing, if you go back, you're going to see a number of videos that I shared. And you'll notice how much of irrigation work that we've done. You can already see our irrigation system is already in place. And part of this farm, on one side, we had to actually just sacrifice it for us to save these trees that you're seeing. So climate change, and as a result, we are getting more and more water strained. When I was a young man growing up, we knew that rains would start on 29th of March, and when we were closing for school holidays, there would be rains. Decembers were wet. Not anymore. You cannot be able to approximate as to when the rains are going to come. So as a result, if you're out there and you want to grow these fruits, make sure before you put your money, before you start your investment journey, make sure that you can have some stable source of water. Do a calculation of your water needs, get to know how much water you need, so that there'll be no surprises. When it is dry, then you are still able to sustain your trees. So you can ramp it up, or rather can just summarize that point as something to do with changing weather patterns as a result of the global climate change phenomenon that we're experiencing, making farming very unpredictable. And not to forget, when I was on my way here, our neighbors here received a very heavy rainfall that was accompanied by hailstones, and as a result, the crop that was, we are talking of a kilometer away from here, the rains really destroyed the crop that was growing. And thank God that rain did not come here, because I don't think I would even be making this video. It's a bit, we've been hit before, and I've made several videos on effects of hailstones on our trees. We are yet to put some mitigation measures, which includes putting shade nets, so that if such rains come, then our trees would be shielded. So that means we have to invest more so that we can be able to secure our investment. I think the number 3 challenge that I've also noted is that one thing that keeps on popping out is the issue of market. When we started growing these fruits, say 6 years ago, and today, the market dynamics have changed. And as a result, if you're out there and you are planning to invest in tree tomatoes, listen to me very carefully. The traditional markets, I'll call them the traditional channels of selling these fruits, are already grappling with excess fruits. Whenever all of us grow these fruits, we tend to look for buyers to come and collect the fruits from our farms. And as a result, the few buyers who are able to buy good quantities end up with a lot of fruits, and we have refused to grow the market channels that exist. All I'm saying is that if you're out here and you're growing these fruits and you'd want to sit pretty much back and enjoy enjoy the work, or rather the fruits of your hard work, it's no longer a straightforward thing. You have to invest on the issue of the market, right? And I repeat, the channels that or the traditional markets, let me call them the traditional markets. We are talking of Marikiti, we are talking of City Park, we are talking of the mainstream markets. You have to be a little bit creative in regards to where you're going to sell your fruits. If you sit pretty much at home waiting for buyers to come and buy your fruits without even trying to go and create new markets, I can tell you, you will be disappointed. So I just spoke to one of the vendors that I've been selling fruits to. She's based in Kitengela, and she was just telling me, oh, this morning I think fruits were retailing at 80 shillings at Marikiti. 80 shillings per kg. So 80 Kenya shillings per kg. If the person who is selling them in Marikiti is selling them at 80, you can already start imagining, or rather you can even predict what would be the price of the same in our, the farm gate price in different locations. truth be told, there has been a lot of sensitization, education. We have various TV programs that have shown how people are living flashy lifestyle owing to cultivation of this tree, of these fruits. How some have made millions out of it. Yes, the millions are there, only that they're a bit hidden than they were before. And as a result, I would say there is a glut in the market. But I also want to offer hope to those who have fruits and tell them to get a little bit uncomfortable and go out there. There seems to be a disconnect between the market and the consumers. I no longer sell my fruits in those major markets because I don't agree with the prices. So I've invested more in trying to reach out to my customers. So I usually pack my fruits and deliver to them. And these are people I've done business with for many, many years. So don't be cheated by anyone that tomorrow you'll be selling your fruits at 100 shillings per kg at Marigiti and someone will come for the fruits at your farm. It is a lie. It's a pure lie. And they're called market forces. Whatever, if you did your market survey a year ago, you'll see that things have since changed. We have the economy. Right now I hear that the economy is very much battered, is it? Yeah, or rather, the economy is not doing very well. And people's purchasing power has been compromised. So as a result, you may have a very beautiful product, but if your consumers don't have money to buy, that means that you'll have a problem selling your fruits at a premium price. So in summary, right now I've had the few buyers who are buying at 50 shillings per kg, and I'm here to come across one who is even willing to go all the way to the farm to collect the fruits. So not to discourage anyone, just make sure that you invest more. Talk to your neighbor, your estate groups, your church members. They are all potential consumers of these fruits, and you should be able to sell your fruits and make some extra coin. So invest more on the value chain, and then you're likely to sell all your fruits without much of a hassle. The other challenge that I would want to mention is that one thing that I keep on hearing from many farmers is one of the greatest danger with these fruits is thieves, stealing. People who will wait for your fruits to be ready, and before you even harvested the first fruits, they have already tasted your fruits. That is happening more and more often. And I'll tell you that if you're starting your investment journey of tree tomatoes or any other fruit, you just have to think security on how you're going to secure your fruits. More and more farmers are complaining of theft. And I'm telling you, it's not an easy thing. This is a story for another day. But I remember sometimes back, my farmhand took advantage of my busy schedule, and when Corona first hit, remember the markets were closed. Farmers who would come to, or rather buyers who would come to, would come and collect fruits in the farms, refused to come. And as a result, we had to invest, or rather there was a market disruption. So as a result, I have always been harvesting the fruits and taking them to the market, and I usually don't involve my team in doing that. So what happened is that I started sending buyers to come to the farm to collect fruits, and as a result, my farmhand of course got the contact. So what they would do is that they would sell the fruits without disclosing, and I know I lost quite a number. So stealing can take many forms. Your very trusted team members, your farm team and staff, your staff, petty thieves, young boys and girls. I have to mention girls also, but boys are notorious for the purpose of gender inclusion. Boys are very notorious. Yeah, petty thieves, all those you have to take care of. I know of a farmer who has invested heavily on fortificating, you know, on securing his farm. You can imagine doing wire mesh in a farm that is bigger than 10 acres and investing in German Shepherd and stuff. If you know Del Monte, past Thika, and one of the challenges that they face with their pineapples, then you'll know that security is a bigger, it's quite an issue that you have to factor in everything that you do. So security is also something that I have to mention, and you have to be aware. You have to have a security strategy, whatever strategy you employ, whether it's deterrence, acceptance, protection, it's up to you. Talk to the security experts, but you're likely to face that. These fruits don't need to be boiled. When it's ready, when it's red, when it's ripe, it can be fed. You know, someone can eat it at that very location. We've had cases of our fence here being broken, people stealing fruits. We have had our staff being involved. Name it, all those shenanigans, you'll deal with them at some point. The other thing that I would also want to mention, that I think it's also a challenge, is seeds and seedling selection. Many farmers are still struggling with this. Oh, do I do grafted? Do I do non-grafted? Do I do oratia? Or, you know, very many questions. And I'm telling you, farmers are wasting time on things that they shouldn't be wasting time on, because the main job is growing these fruits and making sure that you get quality fruits as per the market standards. On the issue of grafted, non-grafted, I'll tell you this without fear of contradiction, that in terms of whether you do grafted or non-grafted, for us we don't do any grafted stuff because we've tested them and we don't think it's value for money, but rather we would rather invest on an extra canter of manure and get the normal seedlings that are not grafted. We would rather invest on other things that I think will give us value for money than buying a seedling at 100 shillings, which is grafted with the promise that it won't be affected by pests and diseases. That I can tell you, it's a lie. So I think the easiest way for you to beat that and to make that decision, work with farmers who are already growing these fruits so that they will be able to guide you. I'm just sharing, this is my opinion. This is based on my experience. Other farmers' experience is different. So seeds and seedling selection, wherever you source your seeds, you have to be careful. Make sure that you don't go buying seedlings that you cannot be able to tell the history, or you've not even seen the mother trees. You've not seen whether the mother trees where the seeds were harvested have desirable characteristics that you'd want to propagate. You've not, you know, other challenge that I've also noted about seeds and seedling selection. You go to a nursery and you buy some very old seedlings that have overgrown in the nursery, and when you take them to the field, they will not be able to do a good job. So there are very many things, and I think I've tried to address some of these things in my different videos. So if you just go to my channel, you look back on some of the things that I've mentioned. So be wise, be careful. So yeah, so I'm saying be wise, be careful. Don't just buy into stories that you read on these blogs. The real work happens in the field. So get yourself a mentor, someone who can hold your hand, someone who can give you practical tips on how they've been able to maneuver this journey. And I can assure you that if, for example, you came here, I'll make sure that I'll share all the experience that I have, and you won't repeat the mistakes that we did when we started this journey 6 years ago. So make sure that you get yourself a mentor, someone who can hold your hand, and most importantly, you're able to make a sound decision. So last but not least, I think we are having a problem with our farmers documenting their agribusiness journey. If you're that kind of a person that if I walked to your farm and asked you for records for for your farm and you don't have, then I can tell you, you'll never know whether you are able to break even, make a profit or not. You just have to be deliberate. If you're growing these fruits, especially cost of production, this is something that I've been struggling with. If you asked any farmer out there, oh, how much does it cost to grow an acre of tree tomato? They'll just mention seedlings, blah, blah, blah. But they don't know how many, the cost of fungicides, of agrochemicals and stuff like that. Let me tell you, if you're out there and you don't document the work that you do, then you're likely to face a challenge. You'll never know whether this is profitable or it's not. So lack of documentation, lack of information on cost of production, I think that's something that I've noted that most of us are struggling. You think by just obtaining the seedlings and taking them to the field, you're done. No, the journey begins there. How many bags of fertilizers do you need? For example, I spoke to my mentor who I continuously to drink from his cup of wisdom, who is helping me with becoming the next big passion farmer. And he told me, you know what, it costs approximately 500,000 Kenya shillings to grow an acre of passion. So he'll go ahead and break that figure down. So, and as you can see, my passion journey has begun. We have some passion here coming up. We've already done, we have an acre or so of passion that is coming up, and they should be ready in the coming few months. So the cost of production, that information does not exist. I'm still trying to populate that so that by the time I'm done with this phase, then I'll tell you how much money it has costed me to get these fruits up to the market. So I'll leave it there. I'm more than happy to hear your feedback. And the challenges don't end there. There are many more. Some are region-based. Some challenges you experience in Nyeri, maybe you won't experience them in Nyandarua. You'll find that some diseases are more prevalent here. You won't find them in other places. So I'm more than happy to hear if you have experienced or encountered other challenges, so that we continue growing this body of knowledge and we can make it easy for other farmers so that they can grow this fruit with ease. So thank you so much. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the feedback. Remember to subscribe. Remember to share this video. Should you be interested to join or rather to visit our farm, you're more than welcome to visit. Kindly just inbox and then you can tag along when I'll be making my field visit. So asanteni sana, and may you have a nice time. Bye.